such an asshole.
Questions, answers, answered at assholeconsulting.com, where if you want to be lied to, hire a regular consultant. If you want the truth, you hire an asshole. Hello, sir. I'm a 56-year-old man. I recently received a medical diagnosis that is treatable, but if it left unchecked, will end me kicking my arrogant addiction. Now, let me say I love my Catholic faith, and to avoid the fifth commandment violation, I will get it taken care of, which means self-deletion. Here lies my issue. I hope I do not run on like these kids, but here is the following. I was married, then divorced, no kids, 1993. After that, never really had any interest. I have several motorcycles and have taken many 1,000-mile plus trips, camped and hotel, fished and hunted to heart's content, had several adventures both in and out of the military service, 8 years in, had many friends that came and go out of life, and many times were laughed so hard, couldn't stand up. To make a long story short, I've had a very enjoyable life. Not to mention, last count, I have saved in an IRA, 401k, roughly $850,000 in savings and retirement. Where have all the good men gone? You can more or less retire. As you gathered, I have lived the menu long before you wrote it. My problem is I cannot see a real reason to continue, even though I will. Sorry, not a joyful topic, just what is going on. Was hoping for some guidance on how I could get over it. What confused me, so then I asked you, what's the fifth commandment? You say, what is that? But deeper meaning, no self-harm. What confuses me, if you've read the menu, the one of all the things that's in the menu, which is a list of things to do in life that has nothing to do with romance or the opposite sex. Kind of like, what should you do in life if you're not married? Is religion was the one I'm most jealous of. Because if you're Catholic or Muslim, or it doesn't matter, whatever your religion is, if you actually believe it, and I presume you do, isn't that the answer for everything then? Not only in terms of purpose in life, because you have scripture or a book that tells you what to do, but then you also have a God, and at least in Catholicism, the God loves you, and you have a community. You can go and hang out with other Catholics. if I mean it, I'm kind of surprised you reach out to me first, or maybe you didn't, but you got the community, you got the religion, you have the afterlife, you have it all answered there, unless you don't believe it. And in which case you don't believe it, well, that's then you got to take a more secular view to your life. But if you're religious, the rules are pretty clear. And then the thing that I envy the most is, like, you actually have a God. You're not alone in the universe. And I'm not very familiar with Catholic doctrine, but I think, is it the whole principle God gave you this life? It is a gift. And no matter how great of a life you might have lived and how bored you happen to be right now, that's like spitting in God's face if you don't, not only if you don't appreciate and contemplate self-deletion, but then you sit on your ass and woe is me and not figure out something new to do. And if you're religious, I would look to your religion and find out what God or the scriptures or whatever tells you. There's got to be some guidance in there. Talk to a priest. Go join the community. That's the first step in your individual situation, your individual case, that I would go, because the answers are there. You got to read a little bit and get some guidance. But that'd be my very first step. And then if you do believe in God, well, God, Jesus, shouldn't you? That, like, well, I'm gonna go worship that guy. This is the dude over here, and I'd be very participating in the church, very active in the religious community. So from a policy or procedural standpoint, your answer is right there. And then finding something to do, I would imagine, is found in worshiping and living your life according to God or your particular religion. So in your individual case, you got a roadmap, at least, in an entire community. So that was kind of my first question. But then when it comes to finding a will to live outside of religion, what I think you might, and you've definitely put the effort in. If you're doing motorcycle rides, iron butts, 1,000-mile rides, um, hiking and all that, it's not for a lack of trying, but that's part of life, man. As you get older, the paradox of novelty. Oh man, I would kill to have the wonderment and the awe and the lack of experiences a lot of my nieces and nephews have, because just everything's new. I found a black widow spider. I put it in resin, sent it to the kids. They're going to think that's the coolest thing. Oh my God. And then, oh, we're going to go up a mountain. Oh, we're going to go swimming. Oh, it's all, and that becomes harder and harder as you get older because you have more and more experiences, and it just gets tiring after a bit. But if you've read the menu, I can't possibly cover everything to do in life, but it's a pretty exhaustive or comprehensive list at least. And that's your job. That's part of life, is getting up in the morning and say, I got to figure out what I got to do. I got to figure out a new hobby. And that unto itself would give you purpose and reason to live. And this is, I'm pot calling the kettle black here a little bit. I'm in kind of the same situation. My to-do list, which is right here, um, I'm pretty much caught up on it. It's now more of an ideal list of things that maybe down the road I could get to. Yesterday, this is going to sound so arrogant. So, cry me some crocodile boomer tears. I had a hard time getting motivated to go golf. No joke. I'm not being funny. I'm not being facetious. It was like, I got to get up. I got to go do the thing. I got to register. I got to, there's going to be people I'm going to throw in. And it's hard because you've been doing, not necessarily golfing, but you've lived for so long. You're just like, oh, am I going to get motivated? You have to get up and go do something. And the position you're in, because you're a little bit older than me, so you got probably a little bit worse than I do, is I think everybody at around that age, because I'm 49, you're 56, late 40s, early 50s. I think that's where people, men and women, finally get to cruising speed, where you're climbing, you're crawling out of divorce, you're compensating, you finally get over all your mistakes, you're starting to make progress, and you could finally chill out and relax a little bit. And in that time, from let's say 22 to 50, let's just call it 30 years, you forgot how to have fun. I honest to God think that's it. I think your fun receptors or neurons or whatever the heck, someone who's a neurologist might have a more scientific explanation, but your fun receptors are burnt out. You haven't had fun in a long time. It's been struggling, striving. And instead of your brain being rewarded with fun fucking activities are new and unique and exciting and wonderment and unlimited potential, you're more about, at least I am, security, financial stability, time management, um, that your brain is so conditioned to fight off poverty, hunger, financial insecurity, and everything. You have literally rewired your brain from, yeah. But the little nieces and nephews, you know what they want? I can tell you what they want. They want pastries. They want ice cream. They want to go to the park. They want to go to the water park. And I just said, God, I wish I could get excited about the water park. But when I look at a pastry, it's like, oh, how much fat is that? Oh, is that gonna is that gonna? Those got carbs in it. Instead of a guiltless, um, consequence-free, worry-free consumption of what we view to be a luxury that is necessary. You have to have guilt-free, consequence-free, worry-free to actually have fun. Not like, oh, I really ought to be fixing the car. And then you get to the point where you probably have nothing left on your to-do list that has to be done. And you're like, oh, fuck, I don't remember how to have fun anymore. And that is probably one of the biggest hurdles, is reteaching yourself how to have fun, which I haven't figured out yet. I'm at that stage. I know that's what I got to do. I know I got to force myself to sit the fuck down and binge on Gintama. I know I got to I'm probably going to go golfing again today. And already there's this hardwired resistance of responsibility. Oh, and that's you went golfing 2 days in a row, even though these are like the cheap municipal courses. I'm blowing a lot of money here. That's your biggest demon right now to fight. And so, going to church and talking and getting involved in the community, that might help philosophically, but you have to uh relearn how to have fun. And as far as I can figure it out, I'm not, again, a neurologist. This is honestly, it's going to probably take at least a year, if not 2 years, of regularly having fun and reteaching your brain how to have fun. It's hard. It's not even guilt. Maybe it's guilt. Let's call it guilt for, like, it's not like I feel guilty or bad about myself, but it's this ought not to, where you really got to defeat that. And I know there's some concerns if you give it up, maybe you're gonna lose your security. That's not it. You're not gonna let yourself go, but you need to give yourself permission to have fun. Now, I'm speculating. I could be totally wrong, but the way you described it, even your fun and hobbies, activities in a certain sense, because I'm guilty of this as well, you probably attack them because 1,000-mile bike rides, that's not leisure. That's still work. It's fun work, but it's still work. It makes it seem to me that you attacked these fun hobbies with an aggression and a work ethic to make sure you maximize the fun of it, which you did. These end up come from rank and file fun to adventures. So even your fun takes work and energy. And so I think, one, you're insulting your God and spitting in his face, guaranteeing you will go to hell if you do that. Right. And so I wouldn't be doing it for that. But so that you enjoy the rest of your life, you have an obligation to relearn how to have fun and guilt free and all that, which, again, pot calling the kettle black. I haven't gotten there. Dennis Prager wrote a book called, I think, Why Happiness is Mandatory, or something about happiness. And Prager was right. He even did a happiness hour, which it's 100% right. And so just don't take his marriage advice, but Dennis Prager's right. Maybe go get that book. But you have to. It is your obligation, and not to mention out of logic and common sense, and for the fact you have to figure out something to do for secular reasons. But to honor your God, I guarantee you, your God does not want you sitting here moping around, not taking advantage and maximizing your life. I don't think there's any religion out there. Maybe other people from different religions could tell me. There's no religion out there where God gives you this life and finds it acceptable you give up on it, for lack of a better word. Not to end it. I mean, they're definitely going to be pissed off about that, but to not avail yourself of it. So not only for your own secular sake, but to honor your God, you should absolutely be putting in the effort to get over this malaise, this psychological hardwiring, the psychological programming, and go and make the best of your life. That's as far as my logic takes me, um, as it pertains there. So that's the hurdle. And then, to getting over that hurdle or accepting that hurdle is like, okay, we got to reteach ourselves. Then you get self-motivated, relearning, rewiring your brain. I guarantee it's going to take years. Guarantee it's going to take years. I'm just taking the first initial steps towards it. But and I think you kind of already understand this, but the case for living, like, well, there's so much else to do. First, the concept of sentience, that alone is a compelling thing. Now, if you're secular, that should scare death should scare the fucking piss out of you, because you don't exist anymore. There is no existence. As I said before, do you remember before you were born? No, because you weren't even around to remember. At least with my view, you weren't this spirit in the sky and God just put you into a human capsule and said, "Oh, go have some fun down there. It's a test to see if you go to the good place or the bad place." No, I think when you're dead, that's it. You go back to the nothingness. There is no you. You're not even around to recognize, oh, it's kind of dark and sad and lonely. No, you won't even, the whole experience of you will be over. This is it. And so while you're here, maybe y'all go have some ice cream and have a couple more cigars and maybe get some more blowjobs or something. All right. Maybe y'all go for another motorcycle ride, or for the love of God, find something else to do. And so until it's over, I would appreciate every second you got. And that should give you the motivation to overcome your hardwiring and conditioning to just work, 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 and not find any joy in life. Right. So that, hell, even work, give me give me a life of work, as long as it isn't too, egregious, or no life at all. I guess I would have the life of work because it's something to do. I mean, a life of hell is just sitting there doing nothing. But an even worse life would be, there's nothing you're awake. No, no, no. Like, for the love of God, this fucking ends. Go do something with it. So there's that. A compelling, I don't know if it's quandary or paradox you face. All right, your religion forbids you from self deletion. All right, if you were not religious, going back to what I was saying before, if you're not religious, what should compel you to avail yourself of life is that it ends. But if you're religious, you then believe in an afterlife. So then, if you self delete, you're going to hell, which is worse than not existing at all because you're in conscious pain forever, right? So you believe in an afterlife. You're going to be conscious after you're dead, just in a different place. And since you self deleted, you're going to be burning in hell forever, in theory. Okay. Well, then that's off the table. Like, this world, this life is not that bad. It's not eternal damnation and being burned in hell. You're going to live another 20, what? You don't got another 20 years in you to handle a little bit of boredom? Go to church, pray, do something, hang out with the nuns, play poker with the monks, whatever the hell Catholics do. I don't know. All right, make some mead. Bide your time for the 20, as an economist, bide your time for the 20 years of boredom. All right. And avoid the life of suffering. So there's that because you don't believe, or you believe in the afterlife. Well, the afterlife can be worse than the real life here. So that would be another thing, another thing for you to consider. But aside from the fact that it ends, therefore life is ultimately precious and you should not be squandering it. You just got to try, man. There's so many other things to do, and if you read through the menu, there's stuff there. But I mean, I think what you almost need is like shock therapy. There's the story. How much of it is true, I don't know, but I think it's true. There's the guy who was going to self delete, and he took all of his money, went down to Mexico, got a bunch of whores, and did a bunch of drugs. And he came back, is like, oh wait, that was fun. Maybe life is worth living. Now, I'm not saying that would be your entire life, but what about just going on a no joke fucking 2-week vacation? Ice cream, whores, booze, adventure, flying, whatever you want to do. Now, your kidneys and your liver ain't going to keep up, but what if you just took a fucking no joke full week vacation? You got $850,000 saved. And I know that's in an IRA, but you probably have some cash. Why not? Seriously, I know this is also not religious. Why not go get yourself 2 whores? Have yourself a nice little threesome with tiggle-bittied whores. Why not? Your other option was to end it all, which brings up another point. Well, if you're going to end it all, then literally every option is on the table. Like, why not try all these things before you go away? And so not only to give you this boost, this intervention boost to give your brain some much needed dopamine, by the way, like, oh, wow, slap your brain out of it a little bit. But then you have to, it's your job now. You've worked, your job was saving up money, working hard, getting over a divorce, all that other shit. You've done that. Now you have to figure out, what else do I want to do? Go get some ice cream, pick up golf. I don't care. Well, I don't have an interest. Go pick up salsa dancing. You ex-military, you probably fired guns, obviously. Do you like guns? Have you gotten a marksmanship competition? Have you done power paragliding? Have you gotten into cooking? These are just things that I'm interested in, but cooking I'm not interested in. You might like cooking. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Like, every day should be getting up and trying something else. I wouldn't really bother with meetup groups. They're kind of lame. Crystal readings. Have you done hiking? You have gone fishing, you have gone hunting. Then you do know your gun, so you got that all taken care of. What about a nice fancy sports car? Have you bought yourself a nice, not super ridiculous, but is there like a fancy car you wanted to buy? What about an old classic car? Those aren't terribly expensive. Uh, Anything, literally anything. Going back to college, which I wouldn't recommend, but I mean, if you want some intellectual, anything at all. That's what I would be doing. That's what I would. It is absolutely anything at all. And I don't know. You said you were married. You got any kids? You're older. You got any grandkids? That's what I'd be doing, scooping them up. Like, hey, let's go. Where are we going? We're going anywhere we want to. We're getting you stuff full of ice cream and sugar. We're going to see movies and we're going to do adventure and we're going to shoot guns. We're going to ride four-wheelers. But increasingly so as people don't have children or grandchildren. Yeah, man, you're just going to have to go out. And it sounds like you read the menu, but go through the list again and just force yourself. Like, and not all activities and hobbies can be done in a day, but try power paragliding. Why not? It's going to take, I guess, at least a week or two to learn. Go sign up for a dance class. You might as well. I'm ordering you to sign up for a dance class. I'd recommend salsa because the girls are hotter. Generally speaking, depends on location. I mean, swing or salsa, I choose one. It depends on the girl. Maybe take both. Sign up for a swing class, then sign up for a salsa class. See where the hotter girls are. And then after you complete both courses, stick with the one with the hotter girls. I honestly, if I were you, I mean, you're religious, I'd go get myself a lady of the evening on a regular basis. Go to seeking. It's not seeking arrangement because that indicates it's prostitution, which it totally isn't. But go see if you can't get, be careful with your money. Don't piss away at all. But I mean, yeah, go get laid. Oh my God. Hey, everybody, we're all getting laid. Binge on some old, go watch Caddyshack, like anything, man, anything. Just don't sit and do nothing. Sharks, they got to swim even when they sleep or they die, or at least that's what I heard. It's kind of the same thing there. And you get to do this for a whole year. And that sounds great to young people. Like, oh my God, you get to do whatever you want. Yeah, in your case, it's overcoming a mental hurdle and getting used to having fun again. I'd go travel. If the traveling's great, there a place you want to, go there. Don't go to Manila. I recommend not going to Manila. And don't use Priceline to get hotels if you go anywhere at all, period. But yeah, it's a job now. It's a job. And in your individual case, I think it's pretty ironclad. You can't do anything but try more. I would go to the religion, man. I envy you. You got a community, you got a God, and you got a game plan in the Bible. Says it all right there. But then outside of church and religion, you better go and sample everything on the menu, man. You better go and sample everything because there's nothing else to do. All right, let's go to the super chat. Burbshide, 5 Australian. Does the case for this stand if you identify as a furry? Yes, because a furry, you should be going to conventions and having weird tail sex, whatever it is you weirdos do with other furries. See, you have something. You have furry culture. I got you idiots. This is my community. I get to yell at people on the internet. Everyone's got their community. And a lot of times you don't realize it or necessarily choose it. Sometimes it chooses you. But yeah, you go be a furry, man. Absolutely. They got conventions. Hell yeah. BG, 20 generous dollars. Love my Catholic faith. Don't have to memorize scripture. Keep it simple. Service to others. 61 divorce, 16 years. Happy as fuck. Never going back. By the way, nothing but love when I called you an asshole in the prayer of it. Well, of course. If you called me a nice guy, I'd worry about it. If I get a dude, speaking of assholes, if Atham ever said, hey, Aaron, you're a great guy and I really appreciate you as a friend. Like, oh my God, you got cancer? What? What happened? What are you going to stab me in my back? What's wrong? I don't think I've ever had one of my friends give me a compliment. I'll be perfectly even my old man, "You're an idiot." Yeah, I know. Thanks, Dad. Anthem, $2. Don't take the Fred pill. You just get one ride. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kaylee Knight. Oh, Caleb Knight. Sorry, Caleb. 20 euros. Hi, local youngster. My argument for life is death being cringe. I relate a death as a nice long nap of not existing sounds nice, but a good life is at minimum tolerable, probably better when balanced between work and true pleasure. Right. And he's 56, so there's going to always be some work. A friend of mine's like, "Are you ever like, what if you won $1 billion? Would you?" I'd probably still do asshole consulting. I mean, maybe not as much. Yeah, I'd be doing a lot more hiking and traveling or something, but I'd still do it. You can't. That's the other thing. You can't just go do hookers and blows and whores all the time. Go talk to Dan Bilzerian, women and whores and coke. Like, yeah, that's fun for a while. Even Sterling Cooper, who was retired porn star, having sex with women gets boring. You need, especially men. I don't know about women. You girls seem you could watch the most mindless, pointless, pissing away your life shows. Watch just the most mind-numbing trash. I don't know. That's girls are different than guys. But guys, yeah, you need some kind of Sisyphus rock to push up and do something. As I get older, I more appreciate accomplishing physical tasks. Like here, I put in a retaining wall, or it was really minor. I helped my friend. I just replaced her air filter, showed her how to do it. It's not all that great, but I did it. Like that gets you more reward than, I don't know, doing some kind of spreadsheet. But yeah, you need work and play. Thomas Rao, $5. Not an Asian, by the way. $5. Golf, hiking, pickleball, cycling, mountain biking, ladies of the evening, minimalism. Try first. Odds are one of the aforementioned will land. And as Tom will tell you, try poker. Have you tried poker? Try poker. Try playing some card games with a group of people, not by yourself. Yeah, all one of them are going to hit. And that there's literally thousands of things to do. And I guarantee you. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Well, that was a quick interruption. Cox Internet came back rather quickly. Maybe they sense I'm making fun of them all the time. I was going to say, in his case, it's not the menu. It's getting to the restaurant to order the menu. It's getting off his ass and doing it, which again, I'm totally sympathetic with. Anyway, all right, there you go. Link below is a link to the book called The Menu: Life Without the Opposite Sex. It's not meant to be down and dire. It just takes the statistical fact, that they're forecasting half the people will not be married. And I keep getting conflicting reports. Some people say half of women won't be married and also not have children. And then some people say, no, it's just half of women aren't going to be married. They might have children. My whole point is half you ain't going to have a significant other in your life, which is the choice of women. There, I said it. Fuck you. Try and prove me wrong, ladies. Women don't want to get married unless you're super Chad Roan. And since that is the case, half. You're crazy. No, I'm not. You see, never mind. Because half the women aren't going to want to get married. Half of you guys ain't going to get married. So half the population better go fucking buy this book and make me several $billion. Is that it? Oh, wait, we got Joseph Jones, $5. How would Cappy solve the U.S. housing crisis permanently? I would round up all the illegal aliens and send them back home. I would see. You're asking me to have dictatorial powers. If you're president, well, I don't control state and local laws. You would also have to um, get local ordinances to loosen the fuck up and allow houses to be built. I would immediately stop funding and lending money on like 80% of college degrees. It's like, yeah, STEM, accounting, medicine. Otherwise, we ain't lending you money. We will lend money for trade schools. I would probably even be okay with state or local funding, depending on wherever, for like a Booker T. Washington type of trade school. I would, what would I do? Yeah, y- I'd make it easier to build housing by getting rid of stupid laws and regulations. I would equip people or incentivize young people to go become tradesmen before they become jerk off journalism majors or sociology or whatever this worthless horseshit the past 3 generations of adult children have decided to piss away their time on. Uh, we get rid of the illegal aliens because then that's less demand for housing. I would also, I mean, if you really want to solve the housing crisis, you'd have to get rid of all immigration, legal or not, to just not have more people coming in for what is a limited or short term limited supply of housing. It's just basic economics. There was also a program in the 70s under Jimmy Carter where an older friend of mine was telling me about it because him and his wife did it, where you built several houses, and at the end of building several houses, you either got your own or a heavily subsidized one. So they learned how to do his wife did the plumbing. She's a better plumber than he is. Kind of like like barn raising, but then again, I don't even know if you need a government program for that necessarily, but kind of like, okay, what are the Amish doing? What are the Mennonites doing? You see how they all go build a house together? Why don't you get kind of like teams of that? And then I'd really start pushing, again, I wouldn't, this is not the government's job, but I would start pushing the idea of bachelor huts. You don't need a McMansion. Really, the video beforehand, tough sheds. Just that's all you really need for one person. And since you girls don't want to like have anything to do with men because don't need no, well, I guess we're just all gonna live in tough sheds then. Um, oh, and then I would absolutely start cracking down on the we don't have any commercial renters in our downtown skyscrapers. I say, yeah, you should convert those to residential. And then we're going to have the doubters. We can't do that. Why? Because we're modern day Americans, and there's just reasons we can't because of construction, and it would be cheaper to tear it down to build, than and build it from a new than convert. I'm like, well, I guess you better get on that, huh? You remember when Americans built the Hoover Dam in the middle of a fucking desert with a fraction of the technology we got now? Stop giving me your fucking excuses. And then after I'd flatten their nuts with a kick into the groin, I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to be an American now and start thinking and coming up with new and innovative ideas. That's what I thought you were going to do. I just heard the word no. I just keep hearing the word no, it can't be done. Instead of you sitting down and fucking thinking of a way forward to get done. A lot of squished nuts, and if I was ever to be president. All right, there you go. Link below the menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.